Hey there, welcome back to my annotation series. Today I'm showing you how I annotate Wuthering Heights by Emily Brontë. This is the method I called the Full Monty in my first annotation video, and it's a very, very in-depth method, so I would not recommend it for most books. You would probably lose your momentum annotating like this all the time, lose motivation because it's quite tiring. But if you decide you want to use this method because you're reading for a book club, or you're reading for school, or you're reading to really, really understand, then this is a great method. So I have my main pen, which is the dark blue pen, which I use to underline passages or quotes and write little comments in the margins. I have the orange pen, which you've seen me use, which I use to underline names and places, proper nouns, dates, things that orient me in the story. The comments I write are not always profound. Sometimes they're for my own understanding. Sometimes they're just my thoughts. If I'm mad at a character, I'll express that. Anything that makes me feel strongly, I think, is worth noting down. I have a color coding system that I've been developing as I'm reading this book. The pro to this is that then you really get to know the book before you start trying to create a tab system, and you don't get spoilers. You could just see I drew a little shocked face in the corner there, so these aren't very intellectual annotations all the time. The con to tabbing as you go is that if you do discover a theme later into the book, you either have to go back and tab the beginning or just kind of deal with the fact that you missed an opportunity to tab at the beginning. So depending on the book, it's up to you whether you want to look up how you want to tab, try to guess from the start, or what, whether you want to know from the beginning or figure it out later. At the top I wrote poor Heathcliff, or poor H. Right now you just saw me use my highlighter. I use this one, I highlight quotes that stick out to me. So not necessarily for their importance to the story, but more beautiful language, quotes that I want to preserve, something that I feel like is worth saving beyond the story itself. You just saw me flip back to the back of the book because there are endnotes. They tend to be pretty helpful, giving some context about Bronte's life and parts of the story that wouldn't make sense to a modern reader. I sometimes underline, I sometimes use brackets. I think I use brackets when the quote is longer or when I don't really feel like underlining. Also when I feel like I have a bad angle and I can't draw a straight line, I'll sometimes use brackets. This one is just sped up, I think 8 times, so you can see me reading. When I'm not writing, I'm reading. I'm writing LOL in the margin there, so again, don't feel pressured to be intellectual with every annotation you write. I just wrote shut up right there to one of the characters, and so manipulative. So just my thoughts. I don't tend to go back to read over all of my annotations, but it helps to keep me engaged with the text. So I've reached the end of the chapter here. Finishing up, just reacting. I wrote uh-oh at the end. Now I'm flipping back to the front to check my annotation key, and I'm tabbing a couple more things. Going back through the chapter. I try to make my tabs very tiny because I don't want to have to cut them like I have done in the past. And then I'm using the orange pen to write the new places, names, things, people at the beginning of the chapter as a reference. So if a new character gets introduced, I'll know what chapter. And now I'm just taking the navy pen and writing a summary. So I have to flip through the chapter because it's really surprising how much of a chapter you can forget even 10 minutes later. So it really helps to flip through while I'm doing this. And this is the most time-consuming part. You could do everything except for this and probably keep your momentum. This is really what breaks the momentum and makes this method a little bit harder. So feel free to modify this. And yeah, that's me writing my summary. And that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions about this, leave them in the comments. Let me know what other types of annotation videos you want to see. I hope it helped to see this in depth. And remember, just make it fun. If you don't want to annotate, if it's not working out for you, don't do it. Annotation is there for you to understand better, for you to have fun, for you to engage with the text, for you to remember more. So don't do it just to make it pretty or just because other people are doing it. Do it because it's actually helping you read better. All right, I'll see you in the next video.